everyone. Welcome to another episode of NSC Study Break. I'm your host, Felicia, and today my guest is Kurt Bretsch. So hi and welcome, and thank you so much for agreeing to do this interview with me.
Thanks for the invitation. Happy to be here.
So the first thing I want to ask you, what university are you from and what exactly do you do there?
So I'm at Stony Brook University, and I'm a lecturer here at the university, which means that I teach undergraduates. I'm also the director of our Semester by the Sea program, which is an immersive field-based experience for the most part in marine science and maritime studies. And that's what we'll be talking about today.
Yes, that sounds really exciting. So everyone, Kurt is going to tell us today about the Semester by the Sea program. And this video is actually a little interesting because he has a presentation so you guys can see a lot of visuals about what it's like and why you should go.
So this is a program that is for Stony Brook students as well as visiting students. So we really encourage students from the NSC program to join us. We typically have one or two students at least every fall and spring semester. So this is our Semester by the Sea program, and it's geared towards upper level students, so typically juniors or seniors in college. And it's mostly science majors, but we take all majors. We often have humanities majors that participate with us. Most of the courses are upper level science courses, so you do need Intro to Bio as a very kind of basic requirement to participate. We also ask that visiting students have a 2.5 GPA at least. And again, they should be juniors or seniors at their home institution. All right, so if you join us for the Semester by the Sea, you'll be coming to our Stony Brook Southampton campus, which is on the east end of Long Island in New York. What I'm going to do today is just going to walk you through some of the images and talk about the courses that you can do and the experiences you can have as you explore the east end of Long Island. So this is a shot of our marine station. This is a relatively new, we're still calling it brand new. I think it's about 6 years old or so, but we still call it a squeaky, sparkly brand new marine station. And this is where we have a lot of our vessels, and we take our vessels out into Shinnecock Bay, which is the closest kind of body of water to our marine station. That also gives us access to the Atlantic Ocean and Peconic Bay to the north of us. So we have access to all these wonderful marine environments. And again, here's the marine station right in the background that you can see. This is also where we have our classrooms and our research laboratory. Here's another shot of the marine station from the outside. This is a shot of one of our classrooms. We can have about 32 to 64 students per class. The program as a whole generally will have about maybe 20 students participating in the program, but we also have a lot of students coming down from the main campus. So our classes can be anywhere from maybe 15 students to about 40 or 50 students, but you'll be interacting with about 70 to 80 students in the Semester by the Sea program. So as I said, you can participate either during the fall or spring semester. The fall semester, this is really our active field season. The weather's nice here on the east end of Long Island, right up through early November. I was just out kayaking on Monday. It was a gorgeous day. Saw scallops, saw all these menhaden in the water. It was a fantastic day. But these are the courses that you can take if you join us in the fall. We have Long Island Marine Habitats, Maritime Traditions of New England, Coastal Cultural Experience, Experimental Marine Biology, Ichthyology, which is fish biology, Physical and Chemical Oceanography. Now, if you're coming as an NSC student, you're considered a visiting student with us, and you're required to take these first three courses at a minimum, and then you can choose from these electives down below. So Long Island Marine Habitats, this is my course, and we go out and we explore the beaches of Long Island, the rocky intertidal of Long Island, seagrasses, salt marsh. We go offshore into the ocean, and we really get you out there collecting data and exploring our local habitats. The next two courses, Maritime Traditions of New England and Coastal Cultural Experience, they go together. These are our humanities courses, and the Maritime Traditions is a lecture. It's an evening lecture course, and you get the foundation for New England maritime culture there. And then in the Coastal Cultural Experience course, you go out and you visit sites around Long Island. So these are some of the sites that you would visit in that course. This is a Friday course. It often lasts all day on Friday. But we go to, as you can see here, the Fire Island Lighthouse, the Montauk Lighthouse. We go to the Spy Museum at Port Jefferson Harbor. We take a boat tour of Shinnecock Bay. We do a kayaking trip one afternoon and pull out the kayaks on the beach and have a seafood cookout. Sun goes down. We've got a fire in the fire pit. Tell ghost stories and maritime stories. It's a lot of fun. We have a full day where we actually take the ferry across Long Island Sound and go to the Mystic Seaport in Connecticut and really give you that immersive experience in maritime culture at their fantastic facility. And lots of other places on the east end of Long Island. In the spring, let me go back to this picture for a second, because this kind of shows you where we are. So here's a shot of Long Island, if you're not familiar with Long Island. This is the easternmost part of New York State. New York City is over here on the west. Here's the main Stony Brook campus right in the middle. And then the Southampton campus is right over here on what we call the East End. In fact, the South Fork of the East End. All right, so that just to help orient you. Now in the spring, we have other courses. Some of them do have field trips, but it's not our active field season. So you'll be taking mostly lecture courses. You'll be doing some lab work at our partner facilities, like the New York Marine Rescue Center. And you can take courses like marine conservation, biological oceanography, unsinkable technologies, which is a humanities course, bioacoustics, marine mammal and sea turtle rehabilitation. This is at the New York Marine Rescue Center, sea turtles, and field techniques in marine mammal science. So again, you can choose from these courses. There are no core courses in the spring. You can kind of go a la carte in the spring and take what you like. All right, so I mentioned that the courses in the fall and spring, but do be aware that we have a lot of other opportunities in the Semester by the Sea. You can get involved in internships with a lot of our off-campus kind of partners. As I said, the New York Marine Rescue Center, the Atlantic Marine Conservation Society. We have wildlife centers around. Anything that you can kind of think of that's off campus to do an internship with, that's potential credit you can earn with us. We also have opportunities for getting involved in research right here on the campus. We have 3 very active research labs exploring water quality and benthic or seafloor habitats in our bays and offshore. This is a shot of our marine station on the first floor. You can see the running seawater lab right behind these windows. And here's a closer look at that facility. It's a state-of-the-art facility. It allows us to do all sorts of experiments in big tubs and tanks. We can control the temperature. We can put different types of seawater in there. Fantastic facility. And as a Semester by the Sea student, we really encourage our undergraduates to get involved and get some research experience under their belts while they're here with us. And then just real quickly, these are our research vessels as well as our teaching vessels that we take into our bays and offshore. Here's the RV Shinnecock. It's a small flat top we use for our bays. Here's the RV Peconic, also for our bays. We don't really take this offshore, but it's a much larger vessel that we use as a stable platform and do some trawls. And then here's our offshore vessel, the RV Pominock, that allows us to go offshore into the Atlantic Ocean, where we see all sorts of fantastic wildlife, from the humpback whales, I'll show you some pictures of those in a second, the dolphins, to sea turtles, to mola mola, the ocean sunfish, to huge schools of menhaden. This really gives us the capability to go far offshore and explore our nearby Atlantic Ocean environment. And these next few shots are just some pictures of students in action, again, collecting oceanic data in the Semester by the Sea, pulling trawls. We do a lot of exploration in our shallow bays and get all sorts of fascinating critters, seahorses, small fishes, really cool critters here in the Semester by the Sea. Here's an example. This is one of our flatfish. We have several species of flatfish that we pull up in our trawls and in our seines. A seine, here's some students seining. I think we're trying to herd some sea robins, which is a really fascinating fish that we have commonly in our bays here in these seines. Here's some happy students with a skate that we've caught on one of our offshore trawls. And here's a shot of one of our trips for that Friday course, that Coastal Cultural Experience course, the kayaking trip. And again, we spend all afternoon kayaking. We go nice and slow, so if you have no kayaking experience, it's a lot of fun. It's a fantastic trip that we love as well. And this is just one of our many sites that we visit. This is the Montauk Lighthouse out on the east end of Long Island on the South Fork. And then finally, just some parting shots from the manager of our marine station, Chris Paparo, also known as Fish Guy of Fish Guy Photos. And he really kind of has a fantastic slideshows that really highlight the amazing wildlife that we have around here. And I'm just going to include a couple of them because people tend to really like the dolphins and the whales. And the humpback whales are right offshore. In fact, this picture on the left shows the Ponquag Bridge, which is right where we have a lot of our field sites. And we have lots of whales right offshore feeding on our fishes that are offshore. So if you'd like more information about the Semester by the Sea, I encourage you to go right to the Semester by the Sea website. And also you can go to another YouTube video and look at the Semester by the Sea video, which is just kind of it's not narrated. It just shows you a lot of the the places that we visit, the activities that we do. And again, some more photos from Chris Paparo that really highlight our wildlife in our area. So I hope you'll visit both of these sites.
Wow.
Okay, so that's a real quick kind of Semester by the Sea PowerPoint presentation. I do encourage students to reach out to me directly. You can find my contact information right on the Semester by the Sea website, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. And as I said, we really enjoy having National Student Exchange students come with us. It's a fantastic program. I wish I'd done that as an undergraduate. So, Alicia, I'll be happy to take any questions that you might have.
Well, I first want to start off by saying that PowerPoint was really, really cool, seeing the dolphins and the whales and just seeing how much fun everyone looked like they were having. I have to ask, the class dealing with sea turtle rehabilitation, what is that like? That sounds so fun.
It is. It's fascinating. So this is, again, through the New York Marine Rescue Center, which is up in Riverhead. So if you take a look at a map of Long Island, I'm not sure how this is going to come out on the video, but if you think about the two forks on the east end of Long Island, Riverhead is right between those two forks. It's where the Peconic River dumps into the Peconic estuary. We've got the Long Island Aquarium up there, which is, again, a place where students can do internships at that fantastic aquarium. And connected to that is the New York Marine Rescue Center. And so what that organization does is they take sea turtles that have stranded typically around this time of the year. Right now, as temperatures are dropping and the water's getting colder, if sea turtles haven't moved down to the south to warmer waters, they end up getting very cold and almost kind of freezing up. They're not able to swim. As I think most folks know, sea turtles are cold-blooded animals, so their temperature is the same as their environment. So in November and December, sometimes they'll wash up on shore and they'll look almost dead because they're simply not moving. And what the center does is they take those turtles, they take them to the facility and very, very slowly warm them back up, and they rehabilitate them for eventual release either later in the spring when waters warm up, or sometimes they're actually taken down to Florida and released down there. So the center also works with marine mammals, primarily seals that wash up stranded if they're in distress, and they'll rehabilitate them as well. So that course works with the center. In fact, the director of the center is the instructor of that course. So students in that course learn all about sea turtle rehabilitation, or marine mammal sea turtle rehabilitation. They actually go to the center and they do a lot of physicals. So students who are interested in veterinary medicine really enjoy this course, especially, as well as human medicine too, because you can do a lot of kind of comparative anatomy with those organisms. So they'll do physicals, they'll take basic measurements, they'll draw some blood, and they'll literally handle these organisms as they're being rehabilitated. So it's a fascinating course.
That's really great that those students have those opportunities. And like you said, that they just have the opportunity to do internships in general and also do research, because I know people at my university do marine science research. And I do research too, not marine science research. But when I did NSC and I went to Puerto Rico, I really had to take a semester off from my research. And that's really great that students can still continue studying what they love even while they're on exchange. But I also wanted to ask, in reference to them doing internships and things like that, do most students live on campus for the NSC program, or do some live off campus?
So that's a really good question. I think all of our visiting students end up living in the dorms. If visiting students have maybe family in the area, they might choose to live with family. However, we really encourage students to live on campus at Southampton, at Stony Brook Southampton in the dorms, because that's actually part of the Semester by the Sea experience, having those social interactions with your peers in the dorms. Our dorms at the Southampton campus are suite style. So you have a shared kitchen and bathroom. They're kind of built for more mature and responsible students, again, upper level students. And we find that a lot of the students, many of their favorite experiences are certainly within the courses, but they also accrue experiences with each other outside. They'll go down to the beach together. They'll pull their own seine nets. They'll make dinner together. And so you really have a lot of opportunities to connect with your peers socially with the Semester by the Sea program. And we encourage students to live in the dorms, but it's not required.
Well, that's really good. I definitely think living in dorms is best for experience like that, especially because people are so far away from home, and it's just really good to have a community there. That sounds really great. So,
so I was going to say, and when I did study away from my home campus. I didn't do the NSC program, but similar programs. And I think I would encourage students to consider immersing themselves as much as possible in the program. And that does include living in the dorms rather than living off campus. Again, that really helps solidify your experience, sharing those experiences with your peers. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And the last question, which I feel like the PowerPoint kind of explained it, but I guess why would you recommend NSC in your program specifically to students? I mean, we already talked about kind of just getting to, be outside of your box and try something new, but just anything kind of why you really think they should come and be a part of this experience.
So I can use South Carolina as an example because I actually earned my PhD at South Carolina in marine science. I was done at the Baruch Marine Lab, which is a fantastic facility. And one of the things that I was taught at South Carolina and elsewhere is that to really strengthen yourself as a student in any field, it does help to get plugged into different networks and see different perspectives. And part of that comes from going somewhere else and encountering those different networks and perspectives. So that's one of the beauties of study abroad or the NSC program. It's just kind of getting outside of your comfort zone and your home zone and really broadening no matter what your field is. So let's just take, for example, students at South Carolina in their marine science program. They have lots of opportunities to take fantastic classes at South Carolina and to get out in the field in the beautiful nature, the coastal environment of South Carolina. But if they can also go somewhere else, for example, to the east end of Long Island, you can then better compare those habitats. So salt marshes, for example, South Carolina is famous for, well, in my mind, in my field, is famous for the beautiful, gorgeous, large salt marshes. Up here, they're a little bit different in terms of scale and some of the players in those salt marshes, that is the animals in those salt marshes, and how they function. So again, doing a lot of kind of comparisons in terms of, again, in my field, different types of habitats is really important to strengthen as a marine scientist. And again, the Semester by the Sea program is a really immersive program. And by that, I mean, we really want to get you outside of the classroom into the environment. So in the fall, for example, students, depending on which classes they're taking, they'll have 3 to maybe 5 field trips every single week, whether they're taking van trips or boat trips out into the environment. So yeah, so that immersive field experience, I think, is what's key to our Semester by the Sea program.
Me too. I think that's really cool and really exciting. And I think for everyone watching, I'm sure just hearing about how involved it is, all the fun things they get to do, getting to work with sea turtles, and just all those things are just a million reasons why they should definitely want to go to Stony Brook and do the semester at the Sea program. So thank you so much for doing this interview. And to everyone watching, please make sure you comment, subscribe, like, whatever platform you're on so you can keep up with NSC videos. And hopefully you all will apply and consider going to Stony Brook.
Great. Hope to see you guys soon. Thanks so much, Felicia.
Thank you.